Welcome to Spark Faith with me, Dr. Kris Sargent. This show is about renewed health, rooted in truth, and restored by grace. What does finding health look like for you? Do you have a vision for your future self and a way to get there? I'm Dr. Kris, and after 33 years in functional medicine and a lifelong journey through brain health, weight loss, hormones, mindset, and faith, I know that real transformation doesn't come from willpower or white knuckling your way to wellness. It comes from gratitude, honoring your body as the temple that God created. This show is about body stewardship, not shame. It's about rewiring your mindset, your metabolism, and your spirit to find lasting health without the grind. I'll help you cut through the noise, see opportunities instead of obstacles, and finally live the healthy, purposeful life you were created for. Let's spark faith and transformation together. Spark Faith starts now. Hey, y'all. I am Dr. Kris Sargent. Welcome to the Spark Faith Show. Today, we are going to be talking about the thing that I have been avoiding talking about. That is eating more might be your missing piece. And this whole subject is really fraught with a lot of feelings, right? Like freaking out feelings. And I am on this journey. So I totally understand the whole freak out side of, oh my gosh, if I eat more, blah, 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 right? Whatever the alarm bells that go off in your head. However, there's a lot of things that I've been learning. And so I'm bringing what I'm learning to you. And I really think that this is the first of 5 weeks again, right? We are at F for foundation. We will talk through regulation. We will talk through energy. We will talk through strength, and we will wrap it up in a health episode. And that is the Living F.R.E.S.H brand that I'm bringing you. And so F for foundation, we have to think about food as absolutely one of the key foundations to good health. And we have skimmed over the top, and maybe you felt accused of undereating. And I know that I have done that. So I'm just in the crowd with y'all in that. However, as well as I know the physiology, right? Sometimes you just can't see it for yourself. And I had to take a really hard look in the mirror to really see what I was doing and actually what my thought processes were. So even though I was eating super healthy, I was not even coming close to eating enough of the healthy things, right? Like there's no processed food in my life. There's very little. There's just like I don't drink a lot of alcohol. I drink mostly water or LaCroix or something like that. I don't drink a lot of coffee. I know you're like, how do you have any fun? That comes in other ways. So I just wanted to make sure that we talked about food, because I just felt like this is such an important piece to really understanding, like I said, the foundation of all this. So undereating is one of the most common and often overlooked drivers of metabolic dysfunction in women. And foundational nutrition is not really optional. Okay. It is really a starting point. It is part of the foundation, literally, like of your house, the body, your house, for the Holy Spirit, right? So, what if the reason your body isn't responding to everything you're doing isn't because you're not doing enough, right? What if it's because you're not giving it enough? All right. We have been told for decades, right? Eat less, move more, try harder. And for a lot of us, right, that's exactly what we've done. I'm saying we because I'm including myself, right? Like I said earlier, even with the full understanding of physiology, I still wasn't doing it right for myself. I couldn't see it until I had to see it, right? And so here's what happens. And y'all know I've talked to you already about my crashes recently. So my body was way more tired than I gave it any mind to, right? It was probably exhausted, and I am still coping with the fact that I am not invincible, right? Because I just would push through, as many of y'all do, I'm sure. And honestly, that just created a lot more resistance in my body, which ended up being more frustrating, right? And leaving me like, ugh, so confused and super frustrated. So I'm going to say something, and you know that I have all the love and so much grace because I have to have grace for myself as I shift and change. So you and I cannot starve our way into a healthy metabolism, right? And healthy metabolism, I'm not just talking about healthy body. I'm not just talking about clean body. I am talking about a healthy metabolism. This is the engine of your body, right? It's like the engine in your car. You would not think about not changing your oil and making sure the fluids were right. But we don't do that for our own body. We probably spend more time on our car than we do on our body, right? So, what we cultivate will either liberate or incapacitate. And if you've been underfueling your body, you're not broken. However, your body is responding exactly the way it was designed to respond. So here's what's really happening. I'm gonna give you a little bit of physiology of undereating. We are going to talk about what to do and what not to do. And then we are also going to dive a little bit into the whole mindset around this because that is the hardest place, right? What's happening up here. So I want to keep this simple. When you consistently undereat, your body downregulates. It lowers its metabolic output, right? This is like being in business, right? If revenue drops or if income drops, right? We have to cut spending somewhere, right? Or increase revenue. So all I'm saying is that your output is going to be less metabolically. You're going to burn less calories. The less you eat, the less you're going to burn, right? Your thyroid will be impacted as thyroid conversion slows down, and that is your T4 into the active T3 component. Your cortisol is going to rise. Right? This is the last thing we want. This is in survival mode, right? This is fight and flight. Muscle gets broken down for fuel, all that muscle that you're trying to maintain. Blood sugar becomes unstable, which leads to hormone and mood instability. And y'all, this is just like putting your body into constant fight or flight, right? Who wants to live like that? Right? So that's the exact wrong direction, right? This is just going to put you in survival mode. And do you know what your body loves to do when it is in survival mode? It loves to save fat. Oh. So when you undereat, your body doesn't necessarily get leaner, right? It gets conservative. It's not trying to work against you, it's trying to keep you alive. So there's this trap that we have fallen into. And again, I say we because I've been in there with you, right? And I see this pattern all the time. I had to see it for myself. I tracked my food and looked at it myself, right? It was undeniable. Eating 12 to 1400 calories, doing more cardio. Y'all know I love to run. Love it. I love running. But it was actually working against me. Maybe you do some weightlifting, but maybe it isn't heavy. You're afraid of getting bulky. I did a whole episode about that. But without the fuel to create muscle tissue and without the carbohydrates to create the energy, you're not going to get out of it what you could actually get out of it. And that's a better metabolism. You're avoiding carbs like the plague, right? And you're really afraid to increase your food. And you're like, oh, I hate that word, afraid. I'm not afraid of anything. Okay. But I had to get real with myself. I was afraid to eat carbs. I was afraid to eat too many carbs. I was afraid to increase my calories. And my body was adapting downwards, just like yours will. And so okay, your tongue doesn't always work. Fat loss stalls out. The belly fat creeps in because of the cortisol. You will have these daily energy crashes. You have these crazy cravings. And of course, weight is going to be impossible to lose. And so I'm saying all these things because this is just physiology, right? This is not a judgment. I'm not judging you because if I was, I'd have a mirror right in front of me, right? Judging myself. I'm just saying this is not to shame you or produce any kind of guilt, right? I am just naming your reality, which was my reality. So this is physiology, pure and simple, the way that God designed it to protect you and to keep your body from harm. So the very thing that you think is helping you is often the thing that is keeping you stuck. So here's what supportive eating actually looks like. And don't freak out yet, okay? Put the freak out on hold, just put a pin in it. We can freak out in just a minute when I'm done with the guidelines, okay? But take some notes. Maybe you'll learn something here that you didn't hear before. Maybe you hear it differently now. These are some really broad guidelines. But if you are stuck at 12 to 1500 calories or less than all that, your baseline actually needs to be someplace between 16 and 2000 calories a day. I know it sounds crazy. Some women even higher, depending on your muscle mass. And it depends on your current size. It does depend on your activity. It depends on your history. It depends on a lot of things, but just know that 1400 calories isn't going to cut it. And I'm not saying that you need to increase it all at once. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But many women are trying to lose weight under this, and your body is just going to hold on for dear life, right? So protein, 0.7 to 1 grams per pound of goal body weight. So if you are 200 pounds and you want to be 170 pounds, you should be eating 170 around grams of protein a day. And you're like, what? How do I even do that? All I'm going to be doing is eating. It's definitely going to feel like that for a minute, right? Until you create a new habit, you're going to be uncomfortable. And we talked about that last week too. We've talked about that a little bit. Just embrace the discomfort, learn the new skill, right? This is just a new skill. You've never done it before. So it's just something new that's going to take a little bit of time and some mental energy to learn. And it doesn't have to be hard. I'm still learning. I'm still in it, learning, figuring it out. Well, how much protein is in everything and how do I get my 140, 147 grams a day? Because that's my goal weight. And I'm pretty much there. I don't want to lose anything that I have. I'm just trying to turn it into muscle now instead of jiggles. So, carbohydrates, oh, they are not evil. They are not the enemy. They are your energy, right? And there is a place for lower carbs, and we can talk about that at another day. It's just not the starting place to get your metabolism healthy. And remember, we're talking long-term goals here. We are not talking a short run. We are talking long-term health and strength. And this is a different goal than skinny and small, right? This is strength and longevity, not skinny and small. So typically, carbohydrates need to be between 100 and 200 grams. What? I know, 100 felt like a lot, let me tell you. It felt like a lot. And of course, this depends on activity level and your tolerance. And this is not something that you just start immediately. I'm going to say that once, I'm going to say it 100 times. Do not start this tomorrow, right? This is something you have to build into a system. And it doesn't have to be hard. No, it does not have to be hard. I know you're in your brain, you're like, oh, this is too hard. And you're going to stop listening. Don't do that. Keep going. You got this. And then fats are going to fill up the remainder. So basically, what you're looking at is protein 25 to 35%, carbohydrates 25 to 35%. Fats are going to fill in the rest of it, right? And here's what happens. Protein creates your structure, right? That's your muscles and your bones. Carbs are your fuel. That's the energy that your body needs. And fat supports your hormones. It supports skin. It supports your immune system, right? It does a lot of support work also. Different than structure, this is support for the structure. And this is not about eating perfect, right? No, 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 no. This is progress over perfection. It's about eating sufficiently. So if you're currently in that 12 to 14, 1500 calories a day, do not go directly to 2000. Take it slow. And I mean slow. I don't mean, well, 1500 this week, 1600. No, next week. Like, I mean, maybe you're at 1500 because you've been down at 12. Maybe you're at 1500 for 3 or 4 weeks. And then you go up 100 calories for another 3 or 4 weeks. Your metabolism cannot be kickstarted. That's not a thing. It has to go slowly into this as you increase your activity level, increase weightlifting, heavier, which we talked about a couple times ago. And then we can get you into the proper range, right? We are to talk about this a lot in the Living F.R.E.S.H collective, right? Like how do we make this happen in a real way so that we can wrap our heads around it? And I'm going to tell you, it does take some tracking, and that's part of the deal. And there's tons of studies. If you want the research around this, there's a lot of studies around tracking your food and being successful in getting a healthier body. So you can push away, that's fine. And honestly, if you have an eating disorder, like that's a whole different conversation. So I just want to put that out there. This is a different conversation if you have a really severe eating disorder. So mindset shift. This is where the real work comes in. You think it's making food and tracking your food? No, it's all between our ears right here. This is the hardest part. It isn't the food that's hard. It's the trust. It's trusting the process. It's trusting your body and putting your trust in God's perfect design, because we've been conditioned to believe one thing, but now we have to believe something new about ourselves, right? That this strong longevity is better than small and skinny. And I'm not saying that you won't be thinner. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that strong longevity is better than shrunken, small, and skinny with no metabolism, right? So we think more food, weight gain, right? Hunger equals I need more discipline. Less equals better. So the reframe needs to sound like this. Supportive eating isn't indulgence, it's stewardship. Your body doesn't need punishment. It needs provision. You're not letting yourself go by eating more. This is going to be a controlled increase with specific nutrient-dense food, right? We're not just throwing in some random calories, some taco whatever, or Dorito whatever, or brownies and just some junk into the mix to increase our calories. We're talking about whole, real food that you are going to be giving your body that's been missing, right? And will you see a little weight shift up and down? Yeah, you're gonna. I'm going to tell you straight up. Oh yeah, I watch a scale a little bit, not as much as I used to, but definitely bump up a calorie. You're going to see a little bit of weight gain for a couple of days. Your body's just replenishing. Glycogen storage is increasing, right? Your muscle mass is coming back online, and that's going to cause a momentary bump in your weight. And if you do it right, that comes off before you even increase your calories again. So that's some of what we look at. It's not just, oh, well, I'm just going to start eating 2,000 calories. It doesn't work like that. So what can you do right now, right? This is a really simple entry point. Let's add, not subtract, and let's increase our protein first, right? Figure out how much protein you need to be eating, and let's try hitting our protein goals first. Stabilize your meals. Like, do not skip meals. Do not skip breakfast. If you've been in the habit of intermittent fasting, and if you've been doing it for a while and you're still not seeing any shift, we talked about this last week, right? You keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. And again, I'm not here to shame anybody. I'm just here to shift your reality a little bit. But we need to stabilize our meals. Breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, mid-afternoon snacks are even more important than your mid-morning snacks so that you don't get home and just eat everything in sight, right? Like you're eating your dinner as you're making your dinner. Been there, right? And then make sure that you always prepare your protein with your carbs, and this will help reduce your blood sugar swings and your cravings. And you will find that lots of things stabilize and your sleep will start getting better. And here's the thing, if you're like, oh, I'm not even hungry, this is a symptom, okay? Not feeling hungry is a symptom that your body is so down-regulated that it is also turned off certain signaling hormones, ghrelin and leptin, that help you understand when you're hungry and when you're full. Okay, so it's just another symptom. And as you eat a little bit more slowly and increase slowly, you will find yourself getting hungry again. That's a good thing. That means your body and your metabolism is starting to come back online. Stop chasing low numbers, right? Shift from, oh, how little can I eat right now, to what does my body actually need, right? This is not a free for all. This is a recalibration. And so what you cultivate will either liberate or incapacitate you. So let's cultivate, right? Bringing in more food, right? Let's cultivate a recalibration, right? Let's cultivate a shift in our mindset that says, I want to be strong and have longevity, not shrink and be small, right? We want to be strong with good longevity. And so for a lot of you, this might be a moment when things start to shift. Like, wow, okay, I never really thought about, am I just getting smaller and smaller? Like my muscles are getting smaller and my fat is staying the same, and I don't like the way my body is shaped. And I've done the same thing for 20 years, maybe longer. Maybe you can't remember the last time you felt hungry and full between meals, or that you actually gave much thought to exactly what you're eating. And so I'm going to encourage you to find like MyFitnessPal or one of those good apps that allows you to just like shoot barcodes and track your food. It can make it super easy. Y'all, I bet I spend less than 10 minutes a day tracking my food. And I track every meal as I go. Some people like to put in their entire day before they get started so that they just like don't have to think about this is what I'm eating. Just depends on your personality and what works for you. I am going to encourage you to find an app and use it. All right. Find out where you're at. Like let's find out where you are, right? We can't start until we know where we are. Because it's like trying to start on your map. Do you want to start from home or do you want to start at your current location, right? We need to get home. We need to figure out where home is first before we go anywhere. And so as I roll out the next 5 or 6 shows, as I roll out my next 4 shows, actually, we're going to talk about restoration and regulation of hormones through better eating and really regulation of your nervous system, this dysregulated nervous system that's happened, and this dysregulated hormone mess that you think you may have found yourself in. Your body can finally repair when you're putting in the right kinds of foods. Your energy will begin to stabilize. You will find that you have energy through the day. You won't feel like you need a nap all the time, right? Your mitochondria can work better. Your blood sugar can be more even. Your hormones can stabilize and your moods will stabilize along with your energy, right? You won't be flying off the handle all the time. Okay. I can only know that from experience, right? Your strength and your sleep will become better, right? And you can build instead of break down. And ultimately, your health will become sustainable, not just something that you keep chasing and hoping for. So this is where where Living F.R.E.S.H Collective really begins, not with really restriction, but with restoration. All right. This is renewed health rooted in truth and physiology and restored by grace. Give yourself grace this week. I love you all so much. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week. You've been listening to Spark Faith with me, Dr. Kris Sargent. This show is about renewed health rooted in truth and restored by grace. Tune in every Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on the Transformation Talk Radio for more simple, faith-fueled steps to live the vision God placed in your heart. Are you ready to take the next step? Schedule a discovery call or connect with me at drkrissargent.com. That's DRKRIS Sargent.com. While you're there, download my free ebook, Endless Energy, the 6 non-negotiable keys to endless energy, and sign up for an upcoming masterclass. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the show, and I'd love to connect with you on social media at Dr. Kris Sargent. Let's keep sparking faith and transformation together. Can't wait to see y'all next time.